This is my seventh game.
Seventh game?
Seventh in a row as a starter, and it's going to be quite an honor, especially here at Dodger Stadium, to be able to play in front of our fans.
Steve Garvey, the All-Star Game's star of the 70s.
You went out here and you threw the ball real hard, and it was pretty easy for you. But I got to trick these guys today. The National League are good fastball hitters, but I'm going to have to dazzle them with my footwork.
And kicking off the 80s with his first All-Star appearance, Steve Stone. As the day begins, fans approach with high expectations. By night's end, they'll leave with heroes to remember. The 1980 All-Star Game, with special guest stars Bob Feller and Pee Wee Reese. As the mid-season classic enters its sixth decade, two heroes of an earlier era, Pee Wee Reese and Bob Feller, are on hand to compare the new heroes with the old.
And I, of course, say reading about you since I was a little kid, Bob.
Oh, yes, Pee Wee. We were both 17, as you may remember.
That's the Pee Wee Reese I remember. When the Dodgers were still in Brooklyn, Pee Wee was the team captain and a perennial National League All-Star shortstop. Reese's first All-Star appearance was in 1942, but his contemporary, Bob Feller, was named an American League star in 1939. At the ripe old age of 20, Cleveland's fireballing Feller answered a call from the bullpen in the sixth inning of the seventh All-Star Game with one out and the bases loaded. On his first pitch, Feller got Archie Vaughan to ground into a double play and became a hero. In those days, the American League dominated, and now Feller wants more of the same.
I'm really pulling for the American League. I'm really serious. It's about time we win one, and I hope you can do it.
Thank you. You know, the guys that are out here don't know about 8-game losing streaks, so it's a new team this year. We've got some good young ball players, and I think this is going to be the year that we're going to beat the National League.
Pee Wee checks on the National League mood with Bill Russell.
Or do you get a little nervous before these things start?
Sure.
I always do.
No matter, I do. No matter how long you played.
Meanwhile, both managers seem quite relaxed, and the fans are enjoying the show on Diamond Vision, the Dodgers' new scoreboard of the 80s. Earl Weaver enlists the help of American League honorary captain Al Kaline, whose National League counterpart is Roy Campanella. Former All-Star heroes are not forgotten in this bastion of baseball fever, and autograph seekers pursue Pee Wee Reese and Bob Feller, even as the National League's James Rodney Richard of Houston warms up. There's one feller here eminently qualified to rate this fireballer.
My opinion is that Richard is got an overpowering fastball. He can throw by a lot of hitters. I think Ryan probably throws a little harder than he, or at least did. And I know Walter Johnson threw harder than all of us.
Is that right?
Well, I think Walter Johnson was by far the fastest pitcher baseball's ever had.
But JR may just be the fastest around today, and the National League is hoping that Richard's heat and catcher Johnny Bench's cool can melt down the bats of the American League. Willie Randolph leads it off. Richard seems to have everything under control. To Davy Lopes, and one second baseman gets another. In his first All-Star appearance, J.R. Richards survives the top of the first unscathed. And it's on to another debut. The Baltimore Orioles' 32-year-old Steve Stone, a .500 pitcher in 9 previous seasons, proves you're never too old to dream. Davy Lopes is one of 4 Dodger starters, and Stone knows he's a dangerous leadoff man. But there's that larcenous Yankee at the hot corner. Greg Nettles steals another base hit, and he has Bob Feller raving.
I saw him play when he was with Cleveland. Also, I seen him play in the World Series. He can play that third base. Only better one I ever saw was Brooks Robinson. He's right next to him.
Bench hits a shot to third. Robinson makes the play. Another dazzling play by 11-time Gold Glove winner Brooks Robinson.
Let's have another look at Nettles' fielding gem in the bottom of the first. Nettles, starting for injured George Brett, takes his cuts in inning 2. Ken Reach makes an easy one look hard. With 2 down and Ben Ogleby on with a walk, Richard faces another of the 4 Yankee starters. Shortstop Bucky Dent. Ogleby's off for the pitch. A perfectly executed run and hit. There are runners at the corners, but the batter is Steve Stone, who hasn't had a base hit in years. Before the game, JR tried to strike a deal with Stone. You throw me fastballs, and I'll throw you fastballs. Stone replied, you crazy? I can't even see your fastball, let alone hit it.
Strike straight.
The side is retired, and so is Richard, who bows out after working 2 scoreless innings, giving up only 1 hit, striking out 3. King Richard gets the royal treatment from his National League mates, who again are set down in order in the 2nd inning.
Pitcher, Bob Welch.
Another hometown hero working for the National League, and none other than Reggie Jackson, waiting in arms. A rematch of the dramatic confrontation in the '78 World Series, but this time Welch seems a bit gun-shy.
He wants to throw me a good ball for it to hit. 3-1, 3-2, 6. Yeah. Want to bring back some memories?
Memories indeed.
Top of the 9th, full count, 2 away. Dodger rookie Bob Welch trying to preserve a 4-3 lead. The Yankees have 2 men on. Jackson swings and misses. The ball game is over. An incredible finish.
Welch surrendered a homer to Jackson later in that series, and now, with Rod Carew on second, he isn't taking any chances. Ball 4 skips by as Carew goes to third and Jackson to first. Again, the American League has a rally going, and this time there's powerful Ben Ogleby at the plate. The Milwaukee Brewer left fielder is in his first All-Star game, and he'd like to make it memorable. Welch's second strikeout kills the American League threat, and it's still 0-0. The 51st All-Star game is a pitcher's delight up to now, as unlikely hero Steve Stone continues to baffle the National League. Eight straight outs, and now Stone needs only 1 more for 3 perfect innings. Fans are starting to wonder if the pitchers have an unfair advantage.
I'll tell you one thing, it's difficult to hit in the All-Star. Now, I know you see some high-scoring All-Star games like you all won in 1946. You won it like 12-0 or something like that. But as a rule, when you get those pitchers knowing they're going out there only going to pitch 3 innings, they can go all out.
Another factor in the pitcher's success is the starting time of this affair, which makes the shadows long and puts the batters in the dark. This twilight dilemma isn't new to the All-Star game, though. In Anaheim 13 years earlier, the best batters in the world struck out a record 30 times in the long shadows of a 15-inning marathon. As sundown approached, a dozen pitchers got used to the breeze of a waving bat. It was an epic pitching duel where even Hall of Famers looked overmatched in the early California eve. Pitchers were the heroes in '67, and in Dodger Stadium 1980, it looks to be a repeat performance. In 4 innings, 4 pitchers have struck out 11, putting them ahead of the 1967 game's record pace. So the question is, are things going to get better for the batter? Rod Carew, named an All-Star for the 14th straight year, faces Bob Welch with 2 out in the top of the 5th. Still 0-0. Carew's perfect day continues, but let's take a look at what he did earlier. In the first, he walked and then took off for second. Carew's third All-Star steal. Then, in inning number 3, the man with the Major League's highest lifetime average went to the opposite field. Rod Carew's performance here reaffirms his place in the pantheon of baseball's greatest performers.
He's got to be one of the top 10 great hitters of all time. Whenever you lead the American League 6 or 7 times the way he has, and you notice he'll hit one ball to right field, he hit the ball out here a while ago to left field for a double. You just don't know how to play him. You don't know how to defense him. How would you try to pitch a guy like that?
He'd be very difficult. Probably try to throw sliders right on his fist like I did to Williams, and I didn't have much luck with him either.
National League pitchers hadn't had much luck with Fred Lynn of the Boston Red Sox, batting in the 5th with 2 out and Carew on first. And there it is. Going, it is gone. Fred Lynn puts the American League on top with a 2-run homer. In 6 big league seasons, Lynn's been an All-Star 6 times, and he's now hit 3 All-Star homers, a figure topped by only 2 other All-Star heroes, Stan Musial and Ted Williams.
Scoreboard up there says that the American League's got a 2-run lead.
You feel pretty happy about that,
Oh, yeah, if the game was over now, we'd have a winner.
I just want to remind you of something. You remember last year up in Seattle?
I was there.
Fred Lynn hit a home run in there to put the American League out in front, too, I think, in the first inning. Then he left the ball game. So you wait. National League going to come back here.
Bottom of the 5th. The National League still hasn't had a base runner. The Yankees' Tommy John has retired 5 straight and now faces Cincinnati outfielder Ken Griffey. Griffey sends one to the fattest part of the park. Al Bumbry in pursuit. Home run. Having been just another cog in the big red machine for too long, Griffey is vying for top billing now, and the national exposure won't hurt a bit. National League fans are breathing a bit easier now that the ice has been broken. But the home team still trails 2-1, with the Cardinals' Ken Reitz up next against Tommy John. For the 2nd straight time, Reitz grounds to second base, but Willie Randolph has double trouble. Catcher Darrell Porter makes Reitz a sliding duck at second, and the Redbirds' third baseman dusts off his first All-Star memory. With the stakes increasing, National League skipper Chuck Tanner shuffles the deck.
Here's going to be Royce in ninth spot. Knight will bat 9.
From the Los Angeles Dodgers, Jerry Royce.
Oh, what a memory that name conjures up for Dodger fans.
Royce needs one more. North hits it back to Royce. To Garvey. A no-hitter. Jerry Royce has just pitched baseball's first no-hitter of the 80s. Retiring the last 25 Giants, Royce has a no-hitter.
Jerry Royce, only 11 days after that heroic performance, is now trying to no-hit the American League. Darrell Porter is down on strikes. Buddy Bell is strikeout victim number 2. And up steps Tommy John, who's probably wondering where is the DH when I need him. The side is struck out, and Jerry Royce rolls on. With the sun down, the lights are now on in Dodger Stadium. Tommy John prepares to pitch in the bottom of the 6th. It's nighttime for the National League. Chuck Tanner's got his righty-lefty strategy in place, and Knight delivers. The National League has a runner aboard with 1 out, and one of last year's October heroes, the Pirates' Phil Garner, steps in to face John. What might have been a double play is a single. Knight stops at second, and the American League smells trouble. In the top of the 6th, Earl Weaver let Tommy John bat, even though the National League had 7 straight right-handers slated to hit. Now, with 2 runners on, Weaver's going to let his southpaw pitch to another righty, George Hendrick of the Cardinals. Hendrick's soft liner has tie game written all over it. Knight scores the National League's second run. It's 2-2, and a grandstand critic voices an opinion.
Pee-wee, I hate to second guess, but I might have made a change if I were Weaver a little sooner. But Tommy John pitching to Hendricks, who's about the hottest year he's ever had, and to get in a right-hand pitcher against him when he had a chance for a double play. Of course, they still have that. Ball game's all tied up. They got one runners on first and third, one man out. Farmer now has to show his stuff. I don't know whether it's best to bring him in or bring in Gossage. I'm just glad I'm not sitting in the dugout making the guesses over there.
That's right.
You only get one.
Ed Farmer is Weaver's guess, the American League's leading fireman with 17 saves. It's sweaty palms time for the White Sox stopper, who enters with the game on the line. And waiting impatiently at bat is Dave Winfield. Willie Randolph boots a double play ball, and Phil Garner comes in to score the tiebreaker.
The second error that Willie's made in this ball game.
So that one really hurt, too. That gave him the go-ahead run. And now the American League has to come back again.
What I wonder if the American club, these fellas out here playing right now, what if they think about that? Here it is again. We jump out in front, and they get one run, and they get another run, they tie it up. Do they start thinking, well, here they come again?
I would imagine. It's been talked about and written about for so long now that the American League players have to be aware of the situation. I just hope to live long enough to see the American League win one. You know, I'm 61 years old now, but...
By comparison, 39-year-old Pete Rose is a youngster, but he's still the oldest among the 1980 All-Stars, and after Keith Hernandez singles to load the bases, Rose comes in to pinch hit against Farmer. It's All-Star game number 13 for Rose and game number 1 for Farmer. This time, the new beats the old, as Willie Randolph finally gets it right. Double plays, and the American League is out of the jam, trailing by only 1. But in the bottom of the 7th, Pete Rose's former teammates run circles around the American League. Ken Griffey leads a Red Scare against Blue Jay pitcher Dave Steve. The Reds' attack gives the National League a 4-2 lead. The Americans are close to 9 straight losses.
Now you're going to see if the American League has any character right now.
Well,
They got 2 more innings to come back, and they can do it. Comes Bruce Sutter in.
well, he's tough. That Sutter is really tough. That ball just dropped down when he pitches it just like it was fall off a table. He's about the greatest relief pitcher I've ever seen.
Al Bunbury looks undaunted, but the Sutter mystery remains unsolved to American League batsmen. Ken Landreau of the Twins thinks he's got a clue. But Dave Winfield sends them back to square one. Why, it's a crime the way this Sutter picks on American Leaguers. Maybe Al Oliver can bring some truth and justice to the American League way. Well, it seems that Sutter is still at large.
Sutter has been the winner in the last 2 All-Star games. They only have 1 more inning to go. I think you may be in a little bit of trouble.
I realize we're in trouble, but he certainly is only none unhittable. I'd like to see a fellow like Williams come up and see how it's headed hit him.
You don't have Williams right now, though.
No, that's
can't bring him.
That's the problem.
Would you settle for Bobby Grich? With 2 out in the ninth, the Angels' second baseman is the American League's last chance. In 5 1/3 All-Star innings, Suter has yet to allow a run, but there's always a first and a second.
A single and a home run is all tied up. I've had it happen to me.
Ball down.
Suter loses Grich on 4 straight pitches. And now with a runner on first, the potential tying run will come to the plate in the person of Detroit Tiger catcher Lance Parrish. American League fans are clinging to this one final hope. And Parrish, in his first All-Star at bat, has a chance to become a hero. It's that time when fans jog their memories, recalling those special occasions when a seemingly decided game turned around at the last possible moment. Bruce Suter has been here before. The count is full and the runner will be moving. So it all comes down to this pitch. Parrish goes down swinging, and for the 3rd straight year, Bruce Suter figures in a victory for the National League, this time 4-2. It's a familiar scene, one which the National League would like to rerun for years to come.
He threw one right by him. High fastball. Yeah, he threw him right by. Well, we want another one. Well, it's been nice to be with you. It's a great game. I've enjoyed it.
To the hero go the spoils of victory. And so the game's MVP award goes to Griffey. The honor bestowed on the 30-year-old outfielder by Commissioner Bowie Kuhn places Ken Griffey atop the list of this year's All-Star Heroes to Remember.